Hi and welcome to Add More Zest. My name's Rebecca, also known as 4Kids at 147. Happy 4th of December, everybody. Oh, it's looking so pretty. Advent. So let's start with day 4 of Advent. This one is, I think it's of only one thing, no, maybe a couple of things that aren't specifically diamond painting related, just to mix things up a little bit. But this one is just a little cross stitch to do. There is multiple different ones, so not everybody is going to get the same in this one. It is just a tiny little design. You do get everything that you need. Apart from maybe a pair of scissors. So you do get your thread, you do get your needle. Which one did I get? Oh, I got the little birdhouse one. So just a little project tucked under a blanket, knees tucked up on the couch. Is just a fun, different kind of craft to do. So there's quite a few different ones. Some come with cards, some are just a little cross stitch itself. It's a big variety, this one, but just a little taste of cross stitch for today's Advent. I might do that later, sat on the couch. I do like a little bit of cross stitch. It's not something I can always do. Just, I suppose it's space. I mean, quite often, to be fair, I don't have the space for the diamond paintings, but I still do them. So I'm using a pen today. This is a bento pen. B-note pen. This was gifted to me by Diana, and I nearly got a pink tray to go with it, but then this purple one looked so cute. So this was our limited edition. It was the first ever limited edition we did, and we did a purple one in March of 22. I've got a label on the bottom telling me. The one that I've got has actually got the old 4Kids at 147 on the back. So I've had this one for quite a while. Oh, we're on the little book stack for today's. So I am filming this one the day before because we are, of course, about to start the working week. Weekend, it can vary whether I do it the day before or on the day. But this weekend just gone, I've done it all on the day. So since I spoke to you yesterday, I have the tree is up. The Christmas tree is out and up. It does not have lights, it does not have decorations. There is no other decorations around the house yet, but the tree is up. The decorations are all out of the loft. Other things that needed to go away in the loft have gone away in the loft. But I thought I would come and do the next day's WIP and Waffle for the 4th before the day gets away from me. So I've had a lovely bit of time pottering, had a bit of lunch, emptied the bins, straightened up, done a load of washing, all that sort of stuff. Got all the decorations down, of course, and I thought, let's go and film tomorrow's WIP and Waffle before it gets to 6-7 o'clock and I remember that I've forgotten. Because I can decorate over time. Now the house isn't, as manic busy because, 2 of the children aren't at home to start off with. One's in Australia and one's in uni. And the other 2 take care of themselves. Things are a lot calmer. So if the decoration boxes sit there and I do a little bit and then I go do something else and then I do a little bit more, that's all good, and I actually think I'll enjoy it more. I was going to get the lights and the tree decorated, but we got a fake tree again last year, after having real trees for quite a while. Once the children were older, we got real trees for a while. But now they're all off doing their own thing a bit more. We went back to a fake tree last year. Plus, we weren't sure how it would be with Luna. But it does have flocking on it. So I put the tree up, and of course it got flock everywhere. And Megan had pinched the hoover because she's cleaning her room today. She's given it a bit of a deep spring clean, a Christmas clean, should we say. So yeah, that sort of stopped me carrying on with the tree, and I did something else. And then I actually thought, you know what? I kind of like doing a bit of this, a bit of that, changing it about. So I thought, let's come and do some diamond painting. The next WIP and Waffle. And then I might put some decorations up. I might do something else. I might do a bit of my other diamond painting. I've got a few different options of things that I can do when I've finished this one. So let's see how many comments and questions I can get through. Well, that's my biggest update. That the tree is up. It is just not lit yet. Hopefully I'll at least get the lights on, just for the coziness for this evening when it goes dark. But it's cold here. We've had snow. So it's a little bit nippy. Okay, Reader Woman said, "Hi Rebecca, how are you?" She said she was wondering if I could do pens with dogs on them, maybe 2 or 3. That's not something I've seen that our supplier offers. I'm more than happy to keep an eye out, reach out to a couple of our other suppliers and see if it's something that they offer. But I've not seen them. I don't even know how you do a pen, like one of the resin pens with dogs on them, unless you could do some form of sequins or something like that. So yeah, I'm not sure how that one would work, but yeah, maybe we'll have to. I'll keep it in mind for sure. Definitely keep an eye out. Kim says she finds that getting a large painting out and setting it up is sometimes the reason why diamond painting doesn't happen in an evening. So true. So true. She said she guesses that is why the paint gem minis would come in handy, which yes, they do for me personally. A paint gem mini, sometimes it's like, oh well, I can just grab this and sit straight on the couch and do. And I love to be able to just do that when I want to diamond paint, but I kind of don't know how long I want to diamond paint. Quite often just due to energy levels. I just love being able to quickly grab it. That's when I used to love doing like the cross stitch, just grab a little cross stitch, curl my legs underneath. You know, I'm not sitting up the same way I am when I'm doing a large painting. Even with the paint gem minis, using the little clipboard, I can just properly curl up on the couch. It's a different level of relaxing for a diamond painting. So that is still something that I need to kit up. At the moment I do have, because the dining table now isn't covered in shop stuff or needed to be used for preparing any shop stuff because we have our own space. I do currently have my Diamond Art Studio painting set up on there, so I can sort of quick access to that. But yeah, I definitely will need to kit up a paint gem mini. I've got a busy week ahead of me for the shop. So I kind of know that I could do with getting one set up soon. If I wasn't putting my tree up this weekend, I would have potentially filmed a kitting up of a Paint Gem Mini. We'll see how the day goes. Maybe I'll do a bit of decorating and then decide to come back in and film a Paint Gem kitting up, just so that I have at least one to work on over the next week. Because I also have a couple to de-kit as well. So yeah, it's definitely worth it. She says she hopes I feel better soon and rest up, she says, for goodness sake. She says you've been running like crazy since July and need to cut yourself some slack. Oh, thank you. There has been little quieter, restier moments within the madness. October was a little bit calmer in some instances. So there has been rest in the chaos. But you are right, it has been full blown since starting to pack Advent, pretty much. She said, on a cheerier note, JD Robb's newest book releases on January the 23rd, 2024. She said something for you to look forward to. Oh, January's good, because normally it's February and September. So it's kind of nice that it's a January one. I often pre-order that on Audible. I'm currently listening to a different sort of book series, but I'm actually very tempted to just have what I now call my sort of lighter reading, even though JD Robb can be quite graphic in places. I suppose it depends how much your imagination is able to sort of fill in all those pictures, but to me they're my sort of switch off books, or at least the older ones are, because of course I already know what's happened. I just love listening to the storyline. I'm actually very tempted to go on a bit of an Audible binge, like diamond painting, listening to my book each night rather than half listening to whatever hubby's watching, which quite often is interesting, but like it's not what I would have chosen, if that makes sense. Yeah, and just listening to all of her books again. It's hours and hours worth, but I'm very tempted to start at book 1 again. Bev says, please take care of yourself, and she hopes I feel better soon. Thank you. Yes, loads better. Voice is catching up eventually. Yeah, it's basically just my voice catching up now. I definitely feel a lot more like myself. Steroids and antibiotics have kicked in enough to sort of clear up the chest, and I'm now getting the benefit, I suppose, of the added spurt of energy I often get when I do need to take steroids for my chest. So I've had a very productive weekend, getting a bit of this done, bit of that done, bit of the other, and starting off on the right foot for the rest of the week, which is amazing. It's also helped that I've only really had the WIP and Waffles for that day or the next day to film this weekend. There's not been lots and lots of different, like a list of 5 or 6 videos that I need to film. It's just been the WIP and Waffles, which I say are some of my favourite ones to film, even if they, are a bit longer than some of the others. So I think that's sort of freed up the weekend to get other bits done as well and get things straight, which is nice. Okay, try and get my square straight. Tanya says, can you please recommend a good company that does customs? She says she's been beyond excited starting the Advent box and really enjoying the diamond painting too. She said, sending you positive vibes for your recovery. Thank you. Personally, I think it was Manhui Rachel's store on AliExpress that I was very impressed with for a custom. I did do a custom comparison. If you go to addmorezest.com and under videos, I have a comparison. So I have the videos linked there. They're on YouTube, but they're just easier to find on my website. And I did a comparison, exactly the same image of a person, because I think quite often if you are doing a custom, it's a picture of a person where the colours can end up being a bit more off than maybe what you'd think. I did it from 4 different companies. And I go through the canvas and what we got, and I show you all the completed image, the completed pictures as well, so that you can judge for yourself which one you prefer. There were a few I liked. There was one that I personally thought was a bit off, but some of the subtleties between a couple of them, it could very much be personal choice. So I do recommend checking those videos out if you want to maybe try one of those companies. But I've had some good customs from other companies as well. I've had one from Coup Deals. Fan Sales offer them if you want the more budget. But they were the only ones that I did a comparison of exactly the same photo of a person. I've had quite a lot from Evermoment that weren't people, which again is on AliExpress. Absolutely love them. But the one I did of a person, I wasn't as keen on. Just wasn't as keen on the colour tones and things like that that were in it. So, but again, that could just be my personal preference. Mrs. Joe Violet says, yippee, so glad the December event has kicked off. She's working on Myrtle Ho 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 from Diamond Art Club for this event and loving it. She says, thanks so much for keeping me company while I diamond paint. You are so welcome. I love coming in and doing my WIP and Waffles in December. I actually, it's a little bit nicer this year as well. So quite often it's the small things, isn't it? Let's just agree that when you make changes, yes, you know, big changes like us moving Add More Zest into its own space, you know, the big change is felt, that's for sure. But it's the little things that come off the back of that that can just make you smile. And one of them is this now being pretty much just a filming room / holding my craft items room. So the fact that I can leave this up, I don't have to move it to pack orders. You know, it doesn't have to shift unless I want to film a different type of video, which thinking about that, you know, I probably won't end up kitting up a Paint Gen Mini this weekend and filming the video. I'll probably do a few videos on one day, you know, move this, do a few videos and then move it back, and it's just, it's here. It's here, it's on its easel, it's ready to go, and I can just come in, do the video and leave it when I'm done. And it's small things like that that just make such a difference. It's the fact that even sort of getting ready for this video, my pens are here, my trays are here. It just all made it so much easier to sort of go, okay, I want that pen, I want that tray, there's my advent, let's go. So yeah, I'm really starting to feel the benefit of those small changes now. We did last night as well. I was doing my Diamond Art Studio painting, and hubby was building a Lego car. And we were both spread out on the dining table because the dining table is now a dining table. It doesn't have all the other stuff on it. So yeah, we're really enjoying the little changes. Nellie, she says, hello Rebecca. She says she is watching my video from her new home in a residential care home. She said, it sounds like you have a cold, which I'll call a change of seasons weather. Yes, definitely, Nellie. She says, all the best for Christmas and New Year. Well, I hope you are enjoying and settled into your new home. I do know you've left a few comments when you were about to move into your new home. So I hope you are enjoying the company, enjoying where you are. I hope they provide you with good food and that you, just get to enjoy yourself and rest and relax and be happy. But yeah, I think it was a bit of a cold. It wasn't the full-on streamy runny nose, but there was definitely a bit of being bunged up all mixed in there, that's for sure. Tipped far too many diamonds out for that. Oh, by the way, well, I've actually emptied the tray. That's the old 4 Kids at 147 on the end of the tray. There will be a few people that have the odd one of the older ones. I say this one was right at the beginning. We did do another pale purple another time. I just don't think I kept one of those trays because I already had the same colour. So there was no point in having two. But it was so popular we needed to release another purple. Shadow Kitty says she loves the bookmark. She said it was such a fun project and is currently in use for her December reading. That is probably one of the quickest that I know somebody has made it and is using it. So I'm very happy that it is coming to use for you and that we chose to have it early on in the month. Sometimes we deliberate more over which order to put things in than we do as to what items to put in, because as I say, we have some that cost more than others. We want you to have higher price items as well, but we also need to be able to keep the value. While we need to keep the value high, we also, of course, want to keep the cost of the box as low as possible, so that you guys can enjoy it. But I'm quite excited for a few surprises that we have, a few different things that we have coming up. So I'm glad it's going down well. She said it was fun to listen while she did her advent painting, and she can't wait to see the painting as it progresses. It'll be after day 12 is when we will really start to see these paintings come to life, as I start doing the other halves to them all. So I did one of each of these for the examples when we launched the painting. I felt like it needed it this time, just because of the concept of adding them to a calendar. And yeah, it feels, even though I'm doing the painting again, it definitely feels very different because it's a half and half, and because I'm chatting to you guys and not just sat at the dining table with it. Okay, comment from Legabok Wandini. Probably hash that. It probably says something else. It's the only thing when they don't let you put spaces. She said she's so excited for the advent. She said, so she did a thing. she decided at the age of 41 that it was a good idea to have a second baby. She said there is an 11-year age gap between her two girls. Keisha was born on the 2nd of June, so she missed the June event. And she had thought that she would catch up once she got back from the hospital. Before I even read the rest of the comment, I know that life changed probably as dramatically as it did with you first if you've had an 11-year gap. Even when I have, you know, the short times that I have my niece nephews, or even, you know, just seeing the parents run round after them makes me realise how you don't half get used to things getting a bit easier. She says, lol, I was wrong. She says, as you mentioned in this video, you forget how much a little one saps the energy from you. So much so. It is unbelievable how much they can. She says she is amazing though, and her big sister Mika is super awesome with her and is a hero. Oh, don't get me wrong, it is exhausting. It's so rewarding though. And kids are amazing. But yeah, they don't half sap your energy, just in different ways, I think it is. You know, I used to have 4 smaller when they were all a couple of years apart or thereabouts, 2.5 years apart. But yeah, I don't know if I could do it all again. I don't know if I could have I suppose it's not having the energy. I can have the energy at certain periods of time, just not for as long as they want it. Or maybe at the times that they want it. That's probably where I would struggle. Matching the times they want me to have energy and the length of time they want me to have energy. But congratulations on what I am sure is a gorgeous little baby girl. I did love having 3 girls. I definitely wanted a boy, but I only wanted 1 boy. Happy as punch that the rest were girls. Trish says happy first day of Advent. Thank you. I am still, there's always more comments on the 1st of December than any other video. So it does take me a while to get through those ones. And that was actually the last one. So I'm now on comments from the 2nd. So we'll see how caught up I can or cannot be. Yvette said she knew straight away what day number 2 was and what it was for. There are a few people that got it straight away. Probably people that have heard us have discussions about doing something similar with the likes of a macaroon or another pot. It's been discussed in some WIP and Waffles, things that can help. So I knew a few people would get it, but I also knew there would be quite a few that were confused over our little jar with a nut inside it. So yeah, it's brought us great entertainment in a nice way. I felt like it should have come with instructions, but I also felt like anybody who bought it would be potentially watching this video and therefore be able to get the explanation that is much easier to give verbally than in writing, or at least it is for me. Michelle says when she opened the bag for today, again, this is all day number 2, and saw the nut in the pot, she said she burst out laughing as she knew exactly what it was for. It makes me think I need to rethink what the sort of plans that we've started plotting for next year. and see if I can think of something else that's a lot weirder, but I don't know if I could do it again. I don't know if I could keep it up if I made it a tradition. Trish said she was one of the ones that opened her advent early and was wondering what it was. She says, however, before I said anything on this video, but as soon as I opened it and shook it, she said to herself, it's for stuck drills. So as soon as I took the action of shaking the pot, it just unlocked that core memory. So for anybody that hasn't seen it, it's this little pot. This was day 2 Advent. I was the very weird person that ended up with quite a few bags of these from our local DIY store. I actually took in a pot to the DIY store to test the size of nut or whether it would need 2 smaller nuts to go in it. I was that sad person back in probably March or April getting that one sorted. She says she doesn't know why she didn't get it when she shook it. She says, but as soon as you did, she said it clicked. She said, well played. It was probably lying there somewhere in your brain from when you shook it. It's probably been going round in your brain until you watch my video. Just helped it pop into the forefront. But yes, it's for loosening up stuck drills. Kaz says she does miss the monthly launches, and yes, she says she's managed to get what she wanted. I kind of miss the monthly launches as well. I just love, you know, the feel of some new things, I suppose, are always nice. I do need to use the new tray at some point. I need to add the trays to my tray storage. But yeah, I love the new trays, the new cover paper, all the things. Auditings. I didn't manage to get a frame for White Christmas. I know I was speaking to speaking to you yesterday, or yesterday as you watched it this morning for me, about potentially nipping to the range for a frame. But I have decided to hang off on that one. It is a Sunday in December, so I thought that might be a better one evening through the week kind of nip, and I'd concentrate on getting decorations and things up this week, and then try and check for, of course, a frame at some point. I'll have a look online because I need to go to IKEA as well for shelves that I pinched out of my craft room for the AMZ for the shop. So maybe I can find one in IKEA. Cat Lady, she says she agrees it is too dark to wander about in December. Yes, I feel like come 4 o'clock, occasionally I will go out to get something, but I'd much rather stay in. She said to give us a percentage to, too dark to wander about in December. So this is I've just realised what this was about. This is about the energy turn off. Cat Lady took part in a not using any energy. Was it between 4:30 and 6:30 or something like that? If I remember rightly, from the December 1st. She said they give them a percentage to aim for, and theirs was a 20% saving on Monday. They turned everything off, bar everything that was non-essential, and the side light in the front, in front of the fire, and results came through and they had managed 87% saving. She said last night they sat in the dark. She said, so we'll wait and see. I can imagine, like, I know that that's a big saving, and that's amazing how much electricity you've not used. But it does make me wonder sort of how much of that percentage would you end up using more to compensate for that time that you haven't. So, for example, you might not have chosen to charge your phone within that certain amount of time, but you're still going to need to charge your phone. So that could potentially put an increase on a later time of day. I reckon you'll have definitely saved, like, there'll be some things that were probably using energy that you've not realised, and by turning them off, you know, you're not going to have to try and get that energy again at a later date. But it does make me sort of wonder what the real figures are. She said she started her bookmark this morning and she'll finish it tonight. She said she's loving the advent and hoping I'm feeling better soon. Thank you. But it seems like it's going to be quite a few bookmarks ready and finished soon. I've obviously not done some of my lines as straight as I thought when I go to fill in this gap. What we're doing in the craft, Helena said they are so excited for this event. They said yesterday they told themselves that they were taking a break for the holidays. She says, but all of the family are doing other stuff. So she picked up a painting, so she's not lonely every night. Well, you stay with us every night. We'll be here chatting about all sorts. You never know how the conversation is going to go in these WIP and Waffles. She said she loves the videos. She said, how's Megan and the hubby? They're both good, although, you know, the whole family is good. Megan, as I say, is currently on a spring clean of her room at the moment. She does have to share with her sister Caris again come just before Christmas when Caris comes home. So she's done a lot of the sorting out of the room to make sure that there can be 2 beds in there again after having a bigger bed for a short amount of time. But yes, she's just having a really good sort of spring clean. While it snowed here, and it's definitely gone colder, it's also kind of bright today and fresh. And I think that's what's spurring us on to sort of get things done today. So yeah, Megan's decided blitz in her room is it. Whether she's regretted it or not yet, I'm not so sure. I'm sure it won't take long. You do reach a point, don't you, where you go, okay, why am I still doing this? But yeah, they're both good. Hubby has been pottering, doing a few different things around the house. He nipped out for some bits earlier, and I think he's now relaxing with Luna for this afternoon. But yeah, it's all going good in the hood, should we say. I was half and half whether to do these little few pieces here or whether to do the brown first. I think I'm going to do the brown first. It's easy, I can just tip a load in and chat away. Blossom Chops says the bookmark is so pretty. She said you could hang it up and display it. Oh, I am sure there will be amazing few different ways that you can use that and not just as a bookmark. I just can't think of them at the moment. But I'm sure there may be some decorations in your house that you've got that, you know, the bookmark on its side could potentially get stuck on the front and give it a new lease of life. There are many creative people in the group, and I'm sure over the next few weeks we may end up seeing some things that people have done with the bookmark that's just a little bit different, a little bit of a change. Caroline says she is loving today's waffle. She says she's painting along with Zesty Wolf, which is the first painting we produced for a December event after a few years of doing general paintings purchased from elsewhere. I still have a very big fondness for Zesty Wolf. He's actually a painting that I'd love to do again as well. He's just so bright and funky. She says she's just completed her day 2 while listening to me. She says, glad to hear you're sounding a little better. Thank you. Yes, my voice goes on and off. It actually feels better now than it did when I filmed yesterday's this morning. But I'm not sure if that's coming across. It's definitely got a huskiness to it, which I'm hoping will fade over time. Tina said, hi Rebecca. She says, thank you for another great waffle. And she adores the cassette tape. She said she also completed the bookmark. She said it's so pretty. It is a nice one. Everybody did get the same for that one. We did choose a design that we thought was generally pretty rather than themed or as topical. But we thought it would be nice to have a couple of, a small project or 2 with the cross stitch, but a small project to do when you just fancy something a little bit different. Some people love to buy off the canvas items and do quite a few, and that's great. Other people like them but don't tend to buy them. And it's often not because they don't like them, but it's because they enjoy doing the big paintings, the satisfaction from that. And maybe they can't quite see the point in some of the off the canvas for themselves personally. And we thought to have an off the canvas in there, just a little one, would be something that, maybe it'd just give you a chance to experience a little bit of off the canvas. While still being, of course, able to do your bigger diamond paintings. There's all sorts of thoughts that run through our head on what's good, bad, what's right, wrong to put in advents. We often think about them quite a lot and change things up sometimes last minute. Judith said, hi Rebecca. She said she has tried using the trays from AMZ. She said the drills do what they're supposed to do. She says, but when she goes to put them back in her bottle, they don't slide down the tray like they should. She said, any ideas of what she needs to do to get them to work? So I'm not sure what tray it is that you've purchased, but there is a few different types of sort of filament for trays, what we use to print them. Some are shinier than others. So the shiny ones will quite often just really slide back and forth. The ones that are a bit more muted, which is actually like this one, they do slide better over time, especially if you're somebody like me that likes to sort of drag your diamonds into a bit of a line. It sort of smooths the bottom of the tray a little bit because it is sort of a duller filament. It's not as glidey as others, but quite often all you need to do to get them to just go further down, regardless of which tray you have, though you'll find you need to do it more on the muted matte ones, is just tap the end of the tray. Not heavy, just a light tap on the end of the tray. You'll often see me doing it in this WIP and Waffle, and then they will just slide down. So yeah, it's just to get the range of colours. We often need to use different types of filament. Some types, you know, may produce a great tray, but we may not do them again. So some of these are sliding down because this is an older tray. I've used this a lot, but just a tap, just a little tap with your finger. Sometimes I need to bash it a bit more, but start off gentle and that should be enough to just get them to move down your tray, and then pop them back in to your pot. But that's all you should need to do. She says she's also recently finished a 50 by 60 square diamond painting for her grandson. That's a big one. Like, you know, it's not huge, but it's still a fair chunky size. She says she needs ideas on how to frame it. Any ideas are welcome. She said, thank you for all that you share with the world. I do have a few framing options on my website, again, under addmorezest.com. On addmorezest.com under videos, I do have a framing section. One that big, I think a frame would be ideal, but it's not always something that you can get hold of. One thing I will say when purchasing a frame for a diamond painting, firstly, measure your diamond painting, just in case, because it depends where you've got it from, as to whether the drill area is the true, in your case, 50 by 60, or whether the drill area is actually 45 by 55 centimetres. So do measure it to check the inside size you may need. And then, to be honest, take a tape measure with you to, you know, whatever stores are near you that sell frames. Because, and this is the reason I sort of know this happened to me, is I did a custom ballerina picture for my niece in Australia. And I, of course, took the painting with me, rolled up in a tube, and needed to frame it in Australia to go on her wall. And it was a long, thin one. So it was definitely a weird size. And what I actually found was the frame that worked was, you know, when stores sell frames that you can put multiple pictures in, so it has a mount with all the cutouts. It was actually one of those frames, and it fit that painting perfectly. So that's why I recommend taking a tape measure to the shop with you. Because sometimes, even on the bigger sizes, like 50 by 60, it's actually the frames with multiple apertures that end up being the exact size that you need. But of course, looking on the website or searching for it or Googling for it won't necessarily give you that information, because the website will either tell you the outside size of the frame, which will seem to be too big, or it will tell you that it will hold 4 6x4 photos, or an 8x10 photo and 3 6x4s, whatever the combination is. That's the information the website gives you. It doesn't actually give you what the inside measurements inside the frame are for your diamond painting to go in. You could also mount it on mount board or a piece of hard wood if you don't want an edge, or you can use the wooden bars where you just hang it across the top and the bottom, and then the sides are left free. But say there are a few different framing things I've done on my website, but if you do want a frame, go shopping with a tape measure first, and you might be surprised. of what you find. Right, that is another section done. I feel like I'm getting faster. I haven't had to save the memory card as much. So maybe this is a shorter one. I don't know, maybe it's because it didn't have as many colour changes. Who knows? We shall see what day 5 brings. We'll be back down here tomorrow. Do keep your comments and questions coming. I am just ploughing my way through them, and we shall see how far we get. And sometimes I do a bit of a mop up with a longer WIP and Waffle after Christmas. But again, we shall see how the time goes. But thank you all so much for watching, and I'll speak to you all again soon.